Welcome back to Monster Tamer, our 2D Pokemon-like RPG created Phaser 3. If you haven't seen the previous episode, you can find the link in the description. As always, you can grab the project source code up to this point, along with the completed code for this video, from the links in the description. I'll also include any assets you'll need to follow along, so let's get started. Finally, we just need to test all of our changes when we have our feature flag for skipping our animations set to true. So for that, I'm going to open up our preload scene. I'm going to have us go right into our title scene so we can update our options. Go into our options. I'm going to set battle scene to off. Close our options. I'm going to revert our change back to our world scene. And so now when we talk to our NPC, we should go into our battle. We'll see our message and our NPC already shows up. We press OK, we'll see our enemy monster and our health bar shows up. Now if we press OK again, and now it looks like we have a bug. So what's happening is we go into our pre-battle info NPC state, we do our transition, we go into pre-battle info, and after we show our text, we never transition to our next state. However, we can provide our input, and now we show our attack menu. So what's happening is when we call our update info pane messages and wait for input method, we're storing a reference to our messages array and our callback. Then as we're processing them, once we get to the end and we detect we have no more messages left, we call our callback and then we reset our callback property to undefined. Now this works when our code isn't running synchronously and we have our animations, since it takes time for all this to process. However, we get into an issue once our code starts running synchronously. So we call our update info pane messages and wait for input method with our first set of messages, so our junior trainer would like to battle, and we store a reference to our callback from our battle scene, and we store a reference to those messages and a callback to our battle scene. As soon as we provide our input, we immediately go into invoke our callback, and so while this is happening, we call our method again with a new set of messages and a new callback. Because our code is still processing everything, we eventually set our property, and then we reset our callback to be undefined. So finally, after we process our second message here, our callback is now undefined because of the order of how we processed everything, and now we skip calling our callback. And so to protect against this, a better implementation would be to have a queue. Our queue will allow us to queue up all of our messages and callbacks that we need to process, and then as we work through each one, we'll make sure we only call the callback that's associated with that set of messages. So instead of storing one reference, we're going to queue up all of the things we need to process and then handle them one at a time. And so to make this change, this is actually pretty easy to do. All we need to do is implement an array, and our array will be a set of objects that have our two properties. So to make our change, let's go to the top of our class. So instead of having our queued info pane messages and our info panel callback properties, we're going to have one new property. We're going to call this info panel messages queue. And so for our queue, our type is going to be an array of objects. And now our objects are going to have our two properties that we had before. So we're going to have our messages. So this will be our string array. And then we'll have our callback, and that'll just be our type here. And then for object, we'll add in one more property. We're going to call this isProcessing. We'll have that be a Boolean. So this property, this will tell us if we're currently processing this element in our queue. The reason we're adding isProcessing is our queue is going to consist of more than one message, and it might take time to process each of those. So this flag will let us know if we're still processing all those messages. Oh, and for our type here, this should be a string array. So let's remove these two properties. So now down in our constructor, we'll want to initialize a new array. Let's remove our other property. And now we'll go down to our update info pane messages and wait for input method. So now in our method, we'll want to add this to our queue. So we'll do this, our info panel messages queue. We're going to use our push method, and we'll push in an object. So we'll have our messages, we'll have our callback, and now we'll set isProcessing, and we'll do false since we're not processing this element yet. So now we'll move our logic here. Finally, before we call our update info pane with message method, we'll want to make sure we didn't already have items in our queue before we invoke this method. If we had items in our queue, we want to make sure we finish processing those before we trigger processing our next one. So to add that check, we're just going to check the length of our queue, and if it's equal to 1, that means it only has the element we just added. Now down in our update info pane with message method, after we hide our input cursor, first we'll check the length of our queue. If our length is equal to 0, there's nothing for us to process, so we can just return early. If it's not equal to 0, now we need to grab that first element from our queue and start processing it. So do const, we're going to do our current message will be equal to our queue. We will grab our first element from our array. And now we want to mark it if we're processing it. So we'll do if not our current message is processing. Then we'll update that value. So now we marked we're processing that element. Now we want to do our other logic where we check to see if all of our messages have been processed. So now we'll just update our reference here. So if our current message, our messages array, if our length is equal to 0, then we'll want to check to see if that queue item has a callback. So if it does have a callback, now we'll invoke it. Since we're storing our callbacks in our queue, we can remove our property. And now we want to remove that element from our queue. So we'll do our queue, we'll do shift. And now before we return, we want to see if there's another element in our queue and start processing it right away. So we're going to do if this, our info panel message queue, if our length is greater than 0, it means we have more work to do. So we'll just call our method again. And then we'll return early. So now, if we're not done processing all of our messages, we just need to update our method down here to grab our correct value. Do our current message, we'll grab our messages, and we'll call shift. So now if we want to test our changes, we'll come over to our browser, we'll talk to our NPC. So now we'll get into our battle, we'll bring out their monster, we'll bring out our monster, and now we can start our battle. Much better. So now if we just test the rest of our battle, we should knock out our enemy monsters. We'll reach the end of our battle, gain our experience, much better. So now we'll just want to test our changes to make sure we didn't break anything when we show our animations. So I'm going to jump over to our preload scene. I'm going to go back to our title scene. We'll go into our options. I'm going to turn on our animations. We'll go back to our world scene. Let's talk to our NPC. Our NPC should show up. We'll have our message. We see our enemy. We bring out our monster. We can start our battle. We can provide our input. Alright, so we defeat our monster. We get our experience. Nice. So as a quick recap of what we did here, in our battle menu, originally our class was set up to only handle one set of messages and one callback at a time. We would store a reference to those properties on our class, and we were running into an issue where we had a race condition where we were resetting those properties before we finished our callback. To properly fix this, we implemented a queue system into our class. Our queue system just allowed us to queue up objects that had the same properties, so we still kept track of our messages and the callback related to those. We then made updates to our class to now store our objects into our queue and to process our queue one element at a time. By taking this approach, it'll allow us to queue up as many messages and callbacks as we need for our game, and we'll process them one at a time. Now that we're done testing all of our changes, let's go into our preload scene. We'll reset this to go back to our title scene. We'll come into our world scene, and we'll want to reset our property for where we set our wild monster encounters to be false. So remove that line of code, and we'll save. And with that last change, that wraps up our NPC battles feature. We now have a flexible system in place, so we can add in new NPCs that our player can battle. Through JSON, we can tell our game which NPCs we can battle, what monsters they use, and which messages they'll show to our player. We enhanced our existing battle scene logic to support not only wild encounters, but NPC battles as well. Finally, we made some code optimizations to our battle menu, and we improved our overall game. Alright, that's going to wrap up this episode of Monster Tamer. You can find the completed source code for this video in the description below, along with the links to the full series if you need to catch up. If you enjoyed this episode, give it a thumbs up. It really helps others find the series. And if you've been enjoying these phaser tutorials and want to support the channel, I set up a Ko-fi page. Even a one-time coffee helps me keep making more content like this, and the link's down in the description. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you'll know as soon as the next episode is out. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.